So I'm sure you've all seen those 100-day hardcore videos at some point, where if you fall and die, you are unable to respawn and continue. Well, I'm not going to be playing this 100 days in hardcore, not because I'm bad or anything, just so I can be more entertaining without the risk of dying. Anyway, make sure to subscribe to improve the channel. Now let's get into the video. I started off day 1 in what looked like a jungle biome. I chopped down a tree for wood so I can make myself a crafting table and a pickaxe. Then I mined enough stone to make a stone pickaxe. And I went back to gather enough stone for some other stone tools. Right after that, I was surprised that I hadn't noticed the village right next to where I spawned. So I took no time in stealing from the village, taking things like torches, hay, a brewing stand, and some crops. I then found a chest that had nothing of real value, but I was excited to take a bell for my future base. There was another chest that wasn't any better than the first, but at least I had some armor, even if it wasn't great. I proceeded to kill the villager's iron golem, and I used the iron to craft an iron pickaxe. Shortly, I ran away before I caused any more chaos. I came across a large cave that I didn't think I was ready to explore yet, so I went to bed and kept looking for a new location to start my base. Eventually, after finding another village and taking its hay to make some bread, I found a nice spot across the river to make my house. After finishing off the floor, the house wouldn't get many additions for the next few days. However, I did start to make a farm, planting wheat, carrots, potatoes and sugarcane. Later that day, I went looking for caves, but instead of finding iron, I came across multiple mobs, including a whole family of creepers. Eventually, I found a slightly larger cave where I did get some iron. I ended up leaving the cave and arriving home late into the night, and I went to sleep, taking me to day 6. On the morning of day 6, I picked a fight with an enderman, which didn't end up going my way. I got my stuff back and I ended up getting revenge. Later that day, I ended up coming across a large cave. However, the only way down seemed to be some water further into the cave. I ended up finding that water and made my way down. When I was in the cave, I found some iron. Okay, maybe I spent too long mining iron, but you can never have too much. When looking through the abandoned mine shaft, I found a chest with nothing great apart from a golden apple. Trying to get out of the cave proved to be a difficult task, as I was attacked by pretty much every mob there. After some time, I managed to get my stuff back and actually get out safely this time. When I got home, I cooked the iron that I had, and I ended up noticing some pillagers outside my house. After that face-off, I decided it would be a good idea for me to start strip mining for diamonds. After mining for a few days, I ended up with 39 diamonds in total, which wasn't too bad. As well as this, with the deep slate I had gotten, I was able to finish off the roof of my house. The roof was looking quite nice, however I had to get some more deep slate than I already had and ended up finding more diamonds. After I did finish the roof however, I crafted full diamond armor and some tools. The rest of day 15 I spent farming, and on day 16 I collected some obsidian for an enchanting table and to make a portal. Whilst collecting obsidian, I spotted some pillagers and I got another ominous potion. After this, I finally crafted an enchanting table and I made a basement to place it in. I also made my nether portal in the basement with the enchanting table. And I started to make the walls look nicer with the blocks I already had. I then went to collect some wood to finish off the walls on my house. I also started to make an enclosure to keep cows in to get leather for books. But before finishing that, I decided to finally go to the nether. I was just going to look around for a bit, but I realised the portal had led to a floating island. This meant I had to make a staircase from the island to the ground. Eventually I started to explore and I found a nether fortress, But before I went there, I killed some endermen to get pearls. I finally started to make my way over to the fortress, but I had some difficulties as I was being shot at by some blaze. A lot of the time I spent at this fortress consisted of me running away from everything. I finally managed to get enough blaze rods for 12 eyes of ender, and I made my way out of the nether. The next couple of days I spent building a bridge across the river and farming. I then finished off the enclosure for the cows. And I killed some more pillagers. I then led my army of cows to their enclosure. I fed the cows some wheat, and I killed a few to get some leather. Then I crafted some bookshelves to place next to my enchanting table. I spent the rest of day 26 and 27 fishing, but I didn't get anything interesting on those days. Day 28 I spent farming for potatoes, and day 29 I went back to fishing, finally getting an enchanted book at the end of the day. Day 30 I placed more bookshelves, and day 31 I started a raid. The raid was going well at first. But then I realised all the villagers had died and the raid had been lost. Day 32 I tried to look for a new village to start another raid. When I got there, I trapped most of the villagers in their houses so the pillagers couldn't kill them this time. I started the raid and I got to fighting straight away. At one point I got really close to dying, but in the end I managed to defeat the raid and I got a totem along the way. After the raid, I thought it would be a good idea to start bringing villagers to my base to start trading with. I made an area for this villager to stay in, and I used him to get emeralds by trading potatoes with him. I tried to bring another villager to my base, but he wasn't having any of it, so I got a new one, and yeah. Eventually though, somehow I've managed to get him into my base. I then crafted a lectern to turn this villager into a librarian. But then this happened. Eventually though, I managed to get a trade for mending. So I traded with my other villager to get some more emeralds, and I went to go buy the book of mending. The only problem was, my villager had somehow disappeared. I had a feeling that maybe he had wandered into the nether. But when I went to go talk to the other villager to ask where he was, he had told me I had left the gate open and that villager had walked off into the distance. Eventually I found him again and bought the book of mending. And luckily he had wandered back into my house without me realising. After this I remembered that I had a saddle, so I decided to tame a horse. Later that day, I was just in my basement when a zombie pigman decided to come through the portal. I soon got bored of him being in my house and decided to kill him. The next day, I realised my villager had disappeared again, and this time, when I checked in the nether, he was there. After some time, I finally managed to get him back into the portal and to my house again. And since he has gone missing twice now, I decided it was a good idea to block him into my basement with the other villager. And since there was two of them living in here now, I decided to make it a more open area for them to stay. I also managed to get enough blocks to finish off the walls of the basement. As well as this, I got enough bookshelves to finish off the corner of my enchanting table. However, the only enchant I would use this enchanting table for would be efficiency 4 on my diamond pickaxe. Later in the day, I crafted an anvil so I could add any enchant books to my tools. On day 41, I saw they were cooking a baby, so I decided it would be a good idea to improve their working conditions and add a nice new floor for them. On day 42, I added mending to my sword, as well as making a mob farm that would never actually end up working. Day 44, I got infinity from one of my villagers, so I decided it would be a good idea to collect some wood and turn them into sticks so I could trade with the Fletcher villager and get some emeralds. Also in day 45, I placed a lot of banners. Day 46, I was putting the villagers into rooms when this happened again. I managed to finally finish off the rooms for the villagers, and I added signs to each of them. I then went back to the nether to collect some more ender pearls so I could make some more eyes of ender. When I got back, I crafted the Eyes of Ender and I started to look for the stronghold. When I found the portal, I realised I'd be missing 2 Eyes of Ender, so I wouldn't be able to face the dragon yet. I did, however, make sure to take as much books as I could from the libraries, including the chests as well. I then started to head home on day 50. Day 51, I added an eye armor trim to my chest plate, as well as spending the rest of day 51 and day 52 farming to trade with villagers. Also coming across a group of pillagers that the Iron Golem was just deciding to tank instead of fight. Day 53, I ended up getting efficiency 5 from one of my villagers. Also on day 53 and day 54, I went back to the nether because I needed some more ender pearls and some more blaze rods. When I got back on day 54, I crafted the Eyes of Ender and I decided to let the villagers free so we could get more villagers. The rest of day 54 and part of day 55 I spent breaking and replacing a lectern to try and get protection 4 on one of my villagers. When I finally got it, I ended up buying it and putting it on my diamond chestplate. The rest of day 55 I spent mining for diamonds so that I could craft some more armor and some more tools. Day 56 I spent trying to get emeralds by getting wood for sticks and gathering potatoes from my farm. With those emeralds I bought another protection 4 book and added it to my diamond leggings. Then on day 58 I finally started to make my journey back to the stronghold. It was at this point, however, I realised I forgot to bring arrows, so I would have to do this the hard way. I had finally beaten the dragon on day 60 of this challenge. My first time beating the Ender Dragon, and I had to do it in the most awkward way possible. I wanted an elytra, so I entered the gateway and started searching around to see if I can find an end ship. Eventually, I spotted one in the distance. And when I entered the ship, I took care of the shulker and I got my first elytra, as well as some nice armor from the chests. After this, I began searching around the rest of the end city. There wasn't anything else in that end city though, so I ended up heading back through the portal. On day 63, I met back up with my horse and finally went home. I crafted some fireworks and decided to test my elytra out. On the way, I ended up going to find the egg and took that home with me. The rest of this challenge, nothing else really happened, to be honest. I did some fishing and I started a raid that didn't end up going too well since all the pillagers had disappeared. After this though, I just ended up going home and I started to actually make a proper mob farm. Eventually, on day 74, I managed to finish the mob farm. And this is where I would stay for the next few days, collecting XP to mend my elytra and to get gunpowder to craft fireworks. After this, I spent way too long trying to get unbreaking free from a villager. The rest of day 81 I spent at the mob farm, getting XP, and also taking out some pillagers. And then I ended up doing something really stupid. And then after building all the way back up, I managed to get my stuff back. After this, I thought it would be a good idea to try get feather falling from one of my villagers. Day 86, I wanted to build a bigger enclosure for some animals, but I wanted some spruce to build this. I collected a few stacks of spruce and I decided to keep exploring. I found a small structure in the water, but I had to kill a whole army of drowned before I could loot the chests. I also found a shipwreck with a treasure map, and you know how trying to find buried treasure goes. On day 88, I finally decided to go home to start building. And on day 92, it was finished. All I had to do was get the animals. After that, on day 93, I went back to the mob farm to get enough XP to mend my pickaxe. And on day 94, I went back to mining for diamonds because I currently only had a gold helmet and I couldn't finish these 100 days without having full diamond armor. I finally left the cave on day 95, ending up with 25 diamonds. I put the rest of the blocks I mined in a chest and decided to go exploring for the last time before these 100 days were over. For some reason, when I found a jungle, I ended up filling almost an entire shulker box with bamboo. I also found some weird looking cave entrances, as well as multiple ruined portals. As well as this, I came across a jungle temple and nearly died before I even got in there. I ended up looting a pillager outpost and another ruined nether portal. I tried to find a village so that I could sleep for the night, but when I finally came across one, there were no beds. Luckily though, I found another village only a few seconds later. In the morning of day 96, I looted another ruined nether portal, and I finally decided to head home. Day 97 and day 98 I spent sitting at the mob farm getting XP. Day 99 I spent flying around as well as making a pathway. And at the end of the day, I watched the sunset for the final day of this challenge. We finally made it through the 100 days. Thanks for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.